Legacies cemented. Two teams, the Florida Panthers cemented their legacy as the real deal, and the Toronto Maple Leafs cemented their legacy as a big disappointment. What are you guys thinking after that Game 5 loss? 3-2 to overtime. Nick Cousins seals the deal and ends your season.
Is there like a word to describe feeling every single emotion at once? I don't know.
Except
Like,
for happiness.
yeah, it's true. Okay, so all of the negative ones. Yeah, feeling every negative emotion at once.
Whatever the opposite of passion is right now, that's what I'm feeling.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. There's a whatever not the passion is that unites us all right now. Dude, that was like we talked about how it's like they win game 4 and no emotion. They win game 5. I'm mad and all that. Like throw it out the window. Like when that game is tied, it's like you're watching this game for your life. Like your life depended on that game. I'm like rocking like a baby back and forth, shivering watching that overtime. It's just incredible how often you think you're out on a team and you're just right back. You are right back. And just as soon as you're right back is when things go terribly wrong.
That overtime was incredible. As a neutral, like I was on my feet. I didn't know which way it was gonna go. But when I saw the 3-2 going like in your favor, in my
Yeah.
mind I'm thinking, is this the end? And then right after the next play I saw Gudis go up on the rush and I was like, okay, this is probably the end.
Once I
And
saw two guys blow tires, I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's I was
Yeah,
we're gonna see the end, the highlight for a while.
that looks about right. Like as soon as you saw the two guys blow tires, I'm like, oh, there is the beginning of the end. Like most teams could maybe get away with two guys blowing tires, not the Leafs, dude. That's what it takes for them. Like if the Leafs are gonna lose, they're gonna lose in some embarrassing ass way. And like unfortunately for the two guys that did blow tires, like I'm not gonna put I don't even know who it was. It was probably I think it was
I think it was
maybe young.
Achari and I think it was Achari Lilligren, I think.
Okay. So I mean
I
I'm not
think.
gonna pin the blame on them, but I would say maybe in their personal careers, that's probably the most embarrassing moment of their lives. You know what I mean? Like you blew the tire on that play and you were forced to come back. Like that's something that those two guys are gonna have to relive for at the very least a full year before
Thank God
next
it wasn't a
playoffs.
core 4 guy. Thank God.
Oh my god.
But I mean, maybe it doesn't matter.
it
Maybe that doesn't matter.
and then like on that same play, like O'Reilly's trying to like back check so hard, like you can really see it. And
Yeah.
then when they score, they zoom in on him out of all the guys, and that like it sucks because like literally during the intermission, I saw a video of like his grandmother or like great grandmother or something. It's like, oh come on,
Yeah, man.
tough game, tough series. The bat signal did mean something, literally for one. I don't know if you guys remember that from Game 1, but maybe it's just virtue signaling. But yeah,
Dude,
it
man.
happened.
Even on the overtime goal, like the Radko Gudas thing, like the literally just grabbing Yarncrow's stick. It's just it just insult to injury. The yelling in Joseph Wall's face by
Yeah.
I
Radko.
and
It's
there's one more insult to injury situation. So a little bit of salt on the wind. One last thing. Live by the Sioux, die by the Sioux. Nick Cousins, Sault Ste. Marie Greyhound.
no.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I don't know if I wanted to know that. I mean, maybe that means
That
he's a
makes it
Leaf
hurt a little
next
bit
year.
more.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure that stings for Dumas. Oh, I mean, no, he probably that's probably the last thing on his mind. But I don't know how much freaking game analysis can we do here.
Not much.
Yeah,
I
like I
I'll
don't
be
know.
honest.
I don't think it's worth it.
It
I
Everybody knows what
blacked out
happened.
for half of that game. I'll be
yeah,
honest with
yeah.
you.
It looked
Like
like game 1 and 2. That's it. Like in the first 5 minutes, I texted these guys. I said, "This is game 1 and 2 pace. This is not game 4 pace." And that continued for the whole game.
yeah.
We've got. I just can't believe that we now have to live with the the what if of that goal that was called back. That is
Mm.
like that.
Oh my
That is the
god.
worst because it's a 1 goal game.
Yeah.
That is always going to be brought up. And I guess me and Brian were talking about this last night. My take was like, I mean, even if that one counts, the refs didn't cause you to go down 3-0. So I
Yeah.
don't know how much you can fault them for whatever that was.
The idea was that from 3-0 down, the rest of the series had to be picture perfect, and they were far from that.
Sure, sure. And I get it, like momentum changes and all this stuff. It's just they put themselves in a position where their season depended on that. And that's within your control to not let it get to that point as a hockey team, right? So I guess that's my argument is don't put it in the refs' hands because you have the talent, you had the structure, you had all this stuff to keep it within your own hands. And you let it slip away. So I don't know how much sympathy I can have when something that could be called your way doesn't go your way,
I, I
right?
did I did do some homework, and I do have a list of guys that I do have questions for you guys for.
Oh boy.
Just quick yes or no. Are they back next year?
Okay.
Okay. First one, Alex Kerfoot.
No.
Yeah, no, no.
Definitively?
No.
Well, dude, okay, so look, he makes 3.5 million. If let's assume you were to even come back on two, like
He
to me, that's
doesn't
just
bring
2 million that you can just have at like sometimes you need change for the sake of change. This is something I've talked about too, where like even Pierre Engvall, it's like, well, okay, he's not like directly the reason that Leafs are losing games or something, whatever.
He's got to
But
go
it's like
though.
he makes 2.1 million. You can do something different with that 2.1 million. Just see what it looks like, right? So Kerfoot represents a spot in the lineup where you are willing to see change for sure, for sure, for sure. Nothing
Okay.
against
I,
him, the person, or maybe even
I
the player. Like if he's paid what he's worth, I don't really care. But you got to let him go now.
yeah, for long stretches of the season and in the playoffs too, he just doesn't bring like he you want him to fill a potential top six role, he can't do it. You want him to fill a bottom six role and he can't do it. So they call him the Swiss Army knife, but he can't fit into any position. So there's no spot on the team.
Imagine if
Jack
you
of all
opened up
trades,
the
master of
Swiss
none.
Army knife and just all the tools were dull.
Yeah,
Okay.
basically.
I have three gimmies here. I know the answer for all three of them for you guys. Ryan O'Reilly, David Camp, Noel Cherry. All
Yeah, you try
yeses.
and bring every single one back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
think
Yeah, Dave?
I mean, you try to bring them back, right?
Can you? Well, we need to see.
That's a tough one, right?
Michael,
I think you absolutely try. So with O'Reilly, I think I pegged him like I don't know six and a half maybe. Like that's maybe as high as you go. What did Giroux sign for? I think whatever Giroux signed for, that's the comparable. I think he
I
was
think it's 6
six.
by 3.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's a
that's
very
fair.
fair contract, to be honest. And David Campanachari, I don't know, give him twin deals at anything under two or even just flat at two, I take him back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Michael Bunting.
He's a swing piece. You can go either way. I can hear you out either way on him. Anything under four, and I'd say that's a good deal. If you were to say, once again, he represents a spot in the lineup where you want to see change, I can hear you out on that too.
I this is gonna be a tough one for me to say. I think I'm leaning no right now, just because and I don't even think it's about his play on the ice. I think it's his reputation has is preceding him right now. You're gonna put 4 million like he was on 950K, right? Throughout the season.
Steal the deal. Steal.
And whenever some BS antic was getting brought up about him, at the end of the day, it was only eating away at 950K. If you give him something like at 4, that's eating up over $3 million more of your cap space that
Yeah,
could be spread around to other people or maybe another player in that same spot who's
yeah,
not getting suspended for a hit in the playoffs, who's not getting into like altercations after the whistles and coming out on the wrong side of it. Like
yeah.
I think right now his personality it's like at Chernobyl levels. I don't even think he's that bad of a player or even that like the stuff that he does is that bad to warrant this type of stuff. I think right now it's just name brand. We've had his name on our mouths basically all season. I
And you're done.
I
And
think
you
not that like listen, I don't want to be done because I genuinely liked Michael Bunting. I like what he brought to the team. I just think right now it's over for him in Toronto. Listen, maybe I'm wrong and he has a redemption story. I'd be completely fine with that. I think personally though, they're gonna explore other options before they explore bringing Mike back.
I guess the question is just, can you trade or sign for someone that makes 4 million that you think is as good or better than Michael Bunting? And I'd say those people probably exist.
There's
Without
probably
having done
there.
the research, those
Yeah.
people probably exist.
Justin Hall.
I don't see a world where you bring him back.
No,
I
you
see
can't.
like zero. The Doctor Strange thing again. He's still at it. He's still trying to find the universe. I don't see it.
No. Uh I
And
I
someone's
know
gonna pay
he
him.
yeah, someone will pay him. Man, he
3 mil something.
I still think he's a serviceable defenseman. I okay, yesterday night, maybe because we were looking for it, but like the people that I was with yesterday night are, let's just say, not Justin Hall defenders. I'll tell you that right now. So maybe we were looking for it, but it just seemed like
He wasn't
anytime
he wasn't brutal last game. The next guy I'm gonna ask you is the worst
he
defender last game, but
he wasn't brutal, I won't lie, but he had his moments. And
I hate him on offense.
unfortunately,
That's where I noticed him being terrible
oh
the most. I
my
hate
god.
him on offense,
Oh
bro.
my god.
so
Especially for a guy who's supposed to be offensively
Yeah,
inclined. You
that
know
was
what I
his thing.
mean?
Is he
Oh,
didn't he score 2 goals in his debut? Wasn't that the whole thing?
yeah.
Remember
Yeah.
that?
so
Oh man.
the next thing I'm gonna ask you about is extended till next year, and he will be an RFA. It's Timothy Liljegren.
I
Does he
thought you were
come
gonna say
back?
Connor Timmins for some reason.
Yeah.
Timmy, I think could be another swing piece where you can totally tell me he's worth 1.4 mil because he absolutely is. But you can also convince me that maybe you're doing like a 1-for-1 swap with another young guy that's just needs a change of scenery as well, and you just do it just because. It's one of those spots. I think I also do think a lot of the answers to these questions might depend on who is coaching the team, because I think under a different coach, you would be very curious to see what a bunch of these guys look like under a different coach, specifically younger guys. So I think Lilligren, especially, like I think you could, if you're a different coach, you might be able to unlock something in him. On the flip side, he might become a guy that's totally in a new coach's doghouse, and all of a sudden he's getting healthy scratched every other game, and he's got no value. So you can convince me either way. You can probably show me a trade where I say, okay, I do that involved. But yeah,
So I would say we have the sample size. I would say of about at least 30 games this season, maybe close to 40 games, where he was genuinely like fantastic. Like he was everything as advertised. And then something happened. I forget if it was because people were starting to come back. I think maybe because he had his minutes increased. Maybe that's was that what it was. Because like for points in the season, it was like him and Mark Giordano who were just holding it down on D for the team. So I'm still curious to know if that player is in there. And I would like to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he can hit those standards game in, game out. So maybe what it is, because it really seems like Keefe doesn't trust him in any situations. It's literally just 5-on-5 bottom pairing guy. I don't know if that is the right thing for him. Like I think he needs
Change of
more
scenery.
time. Maybe he
Okay.
needs new scenery. I don't know. But I'd like to see him for just at least finish out the rest of the deal.
Okay. I'm gonna open up Pandora's box with this question, but the next four players I'm gonna ask you is your core four. Are they all back?
Dude, I don't. I have zero idea. Zero idea. We still don't know who's going to be like the GM of this team. Who's going to be the coach of this team? Like the obvious one that people would say, "Oh, you just trade Tavares." Yeah, no. So that's not happening. No move clause, all that stuff. And I was just talking with Brian before we got on here about the fact that Matthews and Marner have no move clauses kicking in on July 1st. So any decision to trade those guys, you got to be making that one within the next month and a half here, which means you have to figure out who your GM is within the next month and a half. There's a draft that has to be run by whoever is GMing this team, free agency, all this stuff. So whatever the answer is, it's going to come kind of quick. I think Willie Nylander all of a sudden has absolved himself of all sins. I don't even know if you're the trucker with the sunglasses on today. I don't even know if you can say that you want to trade Willie Nylander after this series. I don't know. So that leaves you with the big two, right? Matthews and Marner. I, I the way I sum it up, once again, this is without. I'm gonna go through cap friendly probably like every day in the summer, but without having done that, I just think that if you're looking to make the Kachuk Huberdeau trade, I don't see a world where the guy you're trading isn't the Kachuk and we're getting back the Huberdeau. That's what scares me. That's what scares me about trading those guys.
So if I'm any other team in the league, I'm ringing up that
You're
phone.
salivating.
Yeah.
You are
Yeah.
salivating.
I can't lie. You have a lot of pieces on your team that I would love to see on mine. I don't know what we would give up, but what I know is that at the end of the day, you guys should at least be picking up the phone.
So Dave, I kind of sidestepped the question because I don't really know yet. I'm
Yeah.
not
I
in concrete for an answer. How about you though?
I still can't, like, as much as we would love to say, yeah, just get it done. Like, move one of them, move for. I mean, listen, I was beating that drum last game too. I still
Yeah.
I can't see Matthews 100% moving. I think they built the team around him in particular. Like, that's your first overall pick since 1984, since Wendell Clark. That's your first Hart winner since I legitimately don't even know who was the
Yeah.
last one.
Yeah.
Babe Die in 1952, maybe. I don't even know. Two-time Rock Richard winner. That's so tough. Like, listen, I know he didn't have a great series, but I would say for his time in Toronto, he has been consistently not that snake bitten. I'll tell you that. Like, he has put up the goals when it mattered, and even in the Tampa series, man, like
That's what I was gonna say.
he single like his
Jump
first two
started it.
goals jump started that 4-1 game. Which what was the thing before, Christian? What did we say? It was 10 years, 10 days.
Today
Oh,
is
10
the
days.
10-year anniversary of Boston Bruins, Toronto Maple Leafs, Game 7, 2013. It was 4-1.
The original
But
4-1, right?
yeah, oh, so you're saying it might be a 10-day anniversary of our 4-1. Maybe it is.
No,
I
I
don't
think
know
it's
how
a bit
many.
longer. I'll be honest with you,
Okay.
because if
Yeah,
the OT winner was like 8 days ago, like 3 days ago or 4 days ago, I'm pretty
true.
sure.
Very
I think
true.
it's probably like 2 weeks now.
Very
But
true.
I don't see a world where you trade one of, like, Matthews 100%. You there's no world, I think, conceivably, unless you're getting back a legitimate, like, top star.
It's
And
unfathomable.
the top stars right now are Matt McDavid and Draisaitl, who are currently trying to
Untouchable.
get to the conference finals. Nathan McKinnon,
Untouchable.
uh,
Kel McCarr, no.
Cale Makar,
Untouchable.
no.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like, who else are we putting up in that
At that point, you're
category?
losing
Like,
the
there's a
trade. Anyone else, I think you're like Kachuk. You're not trading. I don't even think I would trade. Like you're not doing Kachuk for Matthews. I don't think.
like Jack Hughes. I'm thinking about.
Yeah. Once again, all these guys are going nowhere.
Yeah,
Nowhere.
right. And the same thing with Marner to an extent. Like, it's so
He's
tough.
the most
Especially
polarizing guy right now. 100%.
he
He's the
is.
most polarizing guy because he does so much on the ice. It opens him up for so much criticism. You see him making plays in the offensive zone. You also see him making giveaways. You see him defensively. You also see him making mistakes defensively. Transition. He's everywhere because he's tasked with everything,
Yeah.
and it does open him up for criticism. It does. Uh, I just once again, I don't know what trade you make where he is at the Kachuk. this is a team where on it, like some people are saying, like blow it up. You can't blow it up because we don't have our picks for the next couple of years here. Like I don't know, that's not really an option. So any type of trade you're making is with contention in mind. So you've got to be like really certain that if you're trading Marner, like maybe you are trying to do it for three pieces or something, right? Where it's like, okay, we're not doing a one for one. We're not doing the Kachuk for Huberto. You got to do, I don't know what the comparable trade is, but yeah, you got to maybe spread out that the asset and get three guys back who make 11 million combined. Maybe it's a prospect. Maybe it's a guy making 7 million and another guy making 3.5 mil. Maybe that's how you do it. But
So
it's
another piece that that I'm thinking will probably come into play in the future that unfortunately he didn't get to see the rest of the series was Matt Nyes, right? Maybe maybe if he's in that top 6 yesterday, maybe he gets stuff done. But that's just the big what if, right? Maybe he's the one to help spark, the core. Or I would say I would at the very least I would say Matthews and Marner because of the core 5, including Riley and Nylander turned up yesterday. They
just
showed
incredible.
up. They were like genuinely fantastic yesterday. But maybe you have Nyes alongside Matthews and Marner next season and not Bunting. Maybe that's you have a full season of Matt Nyes as well. Like Matt Nyes is had 10 games of NHL experience. 4 in the playoffs and 4 in the regular season and 6 in the playoffs before he went down with injury. It's like,
Yeah.
That's still the wild card in the back pocket, I would say. But yeah, you're not moving Tavares. The only other conceivable one is William Nylander, like good value contract on an expiring deal. 40 goals this season. I
That's the
think
one. That's the one where
6
I think
goals this
that,
playoffs. 5?
and he turned it up
I
when you needed
I
him.
think I think
But
4 or 5. Yeah.
out of the
Let's
four,
say
I think
okay,
that
sorry,
this
Brian,
is
finish your
I
point.
think that this
Yeah.
is the like the player that you can actually win the trade off of because he is UFA and there is the possibility that he does get overpaid this
Yeah,
offseason.
and his
That's yeah.
value is at its highest right now as well.
Yes.
Yes. This is true. This is all true. Um
It's just like do you do you run it back? Like there's promise it's promise. Technically this is a progressive season for you guys. I asked you guys earlier this season. I asked you guys like last week, actually, if you guys get out of the first round, would you be happy? Both of you guys said yes. Well, look where we are now. You made it out of the first round and you
yeah.
lost in the second, right?
Yeah. Once again, this is the Doctor Strange thing where it's like how many universes are there where you get out of the first round and you're still having the same conversations and like absolutely getting not demolished because like we were a better team in more than half of these games, but losing a series 4-1 after winning the first round, that qualifies as one of those minuscule amounts of timelines where we're having this conversation and we're in it right now. So I after watching this Florida series and seeing Willie, like it's kind of the Morgan Riley conversation that we had in the regular season, where it's like you can throw so much criticism at him, but even Nylander, you couldn't throw criticism at him in the regular season.
Guy scored 40.
It's yeah, the criticism that he faced has been at the end of the Tampa series and at the beginning of the Florida series. That's it, and he responded to it eventually. So that's another one where it's tough, unless he wants a prohibitive number. And what is the prohibitive number for William Nylander?
Double digits.
Anything that's double digits, right? Yeah, I'd agree. Because you got guys like Mikko Rantanen in the 9 millions. So that's where you're like, that's where you're having the same conversations that you had before Nylander signed his current deal, right? Where everyone's like, Pasta's making 6.5. How can you give Willie 7? So it's that conversation all over again.
You
Uh,
you, you can't even like extend him until July
any of
1st
these,
anyway.
yeah, Matthews
Anybody.
or
Yeah.
Nylander.
For
So
Nylander.
You're in a tough situation
and
with
I
that
think
one.
Nylander, I think his is a modified no trade clause. So I think he has like a 10 team. I think we looked at this
Nylander,
last.
right now,
Yeah, he has a
he
modified no trade
he hasn't
clause.
in this moment he has nothing.
Okay, so then it probably kicks
So
in at July 1st as well.
Him too?
So
it's him and Matthews
and Marner has a no
and
move clause
Marner.
that kicks in on July 1st. Yeah. And Tavares is already in his. So
So
I don't think we see any big movements. I'll be completely honest with you. I think they might just have to be forced. Because like you said, Christian, like I don't think that there's a move out. I don't know if there's a move out there. Maybe there is.
if you show
Maybe
me it, or if we start hearing rumblings of guys who are available, and then you're like, oh, okay, I can see that. And then sure. In this moment, though,
no,
you just feel like you're losing any of the trades that you make,
yeah.
right? Which is,
That's
can you
such a
believe
tough
that we're
one.
back here saying end of an era and that it might not be like this
And
is
it's not even
crazy,
after the
bro.
first round. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
you know what I mean? Like Brian did bring up something. Like in let's take all context aside. It was genuinely a progress of a season. The same way that it was a progress. Like Jersey fans were on Twitter last night or whenever they lost to Carolina, and they were like, you know what? It was still a progress of a season, even though they only won one round. Now, the caveat there was they didn't make the playoffs 7 years in a row, like the
Very
Leafs did,
large caveat. If we had
right?
to measure caveats, that's it's a huge one.
Big caveat. But
Yeah.
but their path to success, their success rate is on even playing field right now. So
that's true, actually. Game 5, game
like
5.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know what I don't even know. You know what I mean? Like
It's so true.
I
We
mean,
had this conversation down 3-0.
yeah,
Anyone could tell you anything, and you
and it
can't
would be
rule it
like, yeah,
out. Wayne Simmons in net, sure. I don't
okay.
know, man.
So here's the one thing I do want to bring up from the last game. Why was that not a goal? just
Yeah,
just
yeah, no, I know. We gotta talk about it.
so I saw the rule stating that the ref can deem a play dead even if he doesn't blow the whistle.
Yeah, which by every replay we've seen, they talked about it on the
Yeah, there
intermission.
was
We
no
could not
whistle.
hear the whistle.
So if you lose sight of the puck and you decide that you can't see it, you still don't call the play dead. Like you don't, were you too caught up in the moment to call the play dead? I'm
Yeah.
like that's like saying, dude, the ref lost sight of the puck for a minute going into the corners, and then it squirts out and somebody scores, but he calls it back because he lost track of it for a split second. That's basically what they're saying is the reason why, because the puck was in the net. I think it's like we had at least two different angles last night where it was full white around the puck. I don't know, maybe it was inconclusive. That behind the net cam, oh, if we had a better angle on that one, not just the one where it was kind of like lodged under Bob's skate, but like where one you could kind of see the puck getting trickled
Are you talking
in.
about the one that's like from the blue line, where we had kind of that zoom in shot, or are you talking
No,
about
I'm
the
saying
this
from
one still in
inside
the
the
net? Okay.
inside the net, because the way that the angle is placed, all you
Yeah.
see is just pad and leg, right? You can't see the puck in
It's
front.
too high up the angle. You don't have
Yeah,
something flush with the ice. Yeah.
yeah,
I think that one there, because they were talking about how they showed that in the arena, and it's
yeah,
like that's in the net, but it's also after the play
yeah.
is
Like the
done,
play
after
had
everyone
stopped. I
stops playing,
Yeah,
the goal horn sounds, all
that
this stuff.
the one from the blue line though is probably the best angle that we could get, and
It's
man,
still like I can't conclusively
it's
say even from that one.
I would say it's like 70 to 80, but like
Yeah. Listen, I do think
ah
the puck crossed the line, and we just don't
yeah,
have the evidence.
the evidence.
Bobrovsky, the detective on the case,
Yeah,
obfuscated the evidence.
he was destroying
This
evidence.
guy.
He was doing the
Oh
exact opposite of his
man,
job. He
what a
destroyed the
corrupt
evidence.
officer! What a
Yeah,
corrupt guy.
someone go get that guy a box of donuts.
Sergei Bobrovsky obviously had the season of his life when he came in against Boston. Then he had the season of his life again against you guys. Would you guys say that that's the main contributing factor of why you guys lost?
It's a big one.
Yeah, I
It's not
yes
the
and no.
can you guys say definitively that you guys got goalied?
No, no, Bobrovsky didn't cough up the puck at blue lines and not get our puck out of our zone, right? Like that didn't happen. So there's offense and defense, and defensively, we just had some total brain farts in the series in short time spans that were backbreakers.
Dude, even last night, man, like I believe it was the 2-0 goal. The puck gets like flipped in, which Florida does. They'll try to do that play 11 times out of 10. They'll just flip the puck in and hope for a bounce to go their way. And man, did it bounce for them? It bounced like right over Liljegren's like stick. Couldn't control it, and then they just scoop it, and it's basically like a backdoor pass for a one-timer to I don't even know who scored it. I literally don't remember. Could have been Verhaeghe, could have been Barkov, maybe it was Barkov. And it was like, and it's just like, and especially for Liljegren as well. If that's Liljegren, maybe game 45 this season when he's playing 20 minutes, maybe that doesn't happen. Maybe he's able to control the bounce or at least able to get it out. But like, that's Timothy Liljegren at potentially his lowest confidence. And that happens to him. I'm just like, dude, like like you can't
It's a
win
throw your
against
hands
that.
up moment.
Like
It's
you
a throw
literally
your
can't
hands
win
up.
against that. You
Yeah,
cannot win against that. It's
yeah.
man.
How about goaltending? We haven't talked about goaltending.
Oh,
Joe Wall, incredible again last night. I thought he was very good last night.
yeah.
I
He's just.
think
It feels like he's squared to the puck like 75% of the time.
I think
It
he's
really
NHL
does.
ready.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
do
I
too. I
think
think
so
that's
too.
definitely decided.
But I think
I even swing as far as I'd be okay with not even bringing Sammy back and like trying to throw another 900K goaltender in there. I really am.
yeah,
I'm looking
with
at
like
Sammy.
Alex
Like what
Lyon.
is Sammy getting? What is Sammy getting? Three and a half?
Yeah.
Do you think you
Yeah.
can get a goalie for $1 million and then put that other 2.5 into your roster? I'd probably do that.
The
There's a
only
guy on Florida who might get $1 million. Alex
yeah.
Lyon. Dude, Joe Wall and Alex Lyon. I honestly, you might be able to sell me on that as the tandem next year. I'm not even kidding.
I think the only bit of like listen, I like Joe Wall, but I think the only bit of pause that I have for him is that he's only played in 10 regular season, or it was like 10 regular season games in total, and now it's like 3 playoff games, and like 2 of them were starts, or 4
Yeah,
playoff games and 2 of them were starts. I think that's the only thing that's giving me a little bit of a thing. So if it is Sammy and Wall 1A 1B, kind of like how they were planning on playing Sammy and Murray this year, right? Like that was the original plan, was to platoon the 2 of them, but Murray literally picked up an injury the second game of the season, and that plan was shot to all hell. Let's give Sammy. Let me give Sammy his credit right now, because
for sure.
that could have went a lot. Like he was thrown back into the fire at probably their worst game on game stretch of the season. Like that was near the Anaheim loss, Christian.
The game
Uh
7 tactics.
yeah, the game 7 tactics against the Ducks. Um
So
so
Dave,
so for Sammy, dude, like I'll give him my credit all season. If that was genuinely
Yeah.
like the last game we saw of him a couple games ago, I have to throw my hat in and say I give Sammy my full respect.
Listen, he
I
did the
would like
thing. He did the thing that guys before him couldn't do. Won
yeah,
a series. He was the goaltender in the
yeah,
net for Toronto Maple Leafs when they won a series for
when
the
they won
first
a
time in
series.
19 years.
so
That nobody can take that away from him.
Nobody.
so
Nobody.
Dave,
He's a legend no matter what.
okay. So I don't know if you guys knew this, but the way we found out Holtby was an NHL ready goalie was that we had Neuwirth and Halak both get hurt in the playoffs, and we just had to call up whoever it was, and it ended up being Holtby. This kind of reminds me of the Wolf situation. Kind of reminds me of that because they both are 20. They both were 24 at the time, and they both put up impressive
And
numbers. Wall at
who
a
did they
915.
who was Holtby backstopped by?
Like Neuwirth and Halak.
So it was people with
In the following season?
Like in 2012 in the playoffs. Like they had to just
no,
call
I'm
him
Yeah.
saying,
up.
but then like after that, once he took the spot, who
Yeah.
was he backed up
They
with?
probably let
Was
go of
did they
Halak,
bring back one of them? It was like Halak or
It
was it
was
Neuwirth?
it was Neuwirth. It was Neuwirth for a bit, and
Yeah.
then yeah.
Okay, so maybe the wrong decision there because you would have liked to maybe Halak just priced them out because Halak was still going after that, but
Halak had a
that's
roller coaster career though,
I
right? Like
think
how many stops did he
But
make?
but where I'm going with this is
yeah
in the
no
playoffs. That's
yeah
where you
no
find the diamonds in the rough, right?
I
And
get
I
I
think
get
we
it
all
Sure.
showed up.
100%. I get 100%
I
what
think
you mean. I think I'm just advocating for you need like
you can't
I
throw him to the Wolves and have him play 60 games. That's
yes
not the plan for a while.
That's what we did.
I personally don't like Alex Lyon. I think
I
this
threw a name
season
out there. I'm just
especially.
like bring anyone cheap.
I think if you're gonna go for, I think Alex Lyon is in that category of like 900K goalies where
Yeah.
you're buying potentially a fringe backup. I think.
Sure.
I
Sure.
think you need to. In net you need to spend a little bit to get a lot out of it, and you have the proven quantity here. Like you have the proven goalie here.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I know Sammy didn't put up the greatest numbers in the playoffs, but what are you gonna do, right? But
Yeah.
he got you
He,
he
he
got
was
you there,
also
right?
injured. So
Yeah.
And we're
we
waiting on
didn't
that
see
to come
healthy
out.
Sammy. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna see that. That's always great to hear all the freaking injuries. But
Yeah.
okay, yeah. Listen, you probably do bring Sammy back in all likelihood. He is an RFA, which is
That's a
something
lot better.
underrated.
Yeah.
Because even if you're not keeping him, that means you
Flip.
get to trade his rights. Unless you're doing what Washington did and not
Just not
tendering
qualify
him.
him. Yeah.
But no,
Worked
I
out.
don't see that coming. Yeah,
Did it
and
right?
Matt Murray fire him into the sun. Yeah, I think that's all you
Yeah.
have to say on Matt Murray.
Do you guys have anything else you guys want to go over?
Pain. Just a lot of
Listen,
pain.
yeah, lots of pain. I think a lot of just going on from here would be wasted breath, just kind of going around in circles. We need hints, we need clues, we need a paper trail, we need some answers, and we're going to start getting those probably as soon as, I don't know, maybe even
Today.
today from like insiders and stuff. So once all that type of information trickles in, we can maybe start putting the pieces together. But right now, it's just like it's a broken vase. We got no vacuum. It's just kind of, it's just pain. Yeah.
Wounds are still open, and you're right. We need some time. Well, to recover and just take a break. What I will say is that I'm assuming we're still doing the weekly stuff for the
Yes,
rest
sir.
of the playoffs. I just
Probably,
like,
yeah.
and
Just
then
until the end.
I
We'll
assume
go
that
right
I
till the cup
ass-
gets awarded, and then I
I
think
assume we're doing
that's it.
draft or free agency,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. Shout out to Razor. Shout out to NHL Shop.ca if you want to get your Nick Cousins jersey. And for a second, I was gonna say Radko Gudas, but it wasn't
Oh
Radko Gudas,
God.
but
Oh
it was.
God.
Okay, so the last thing I guess I'll say for the Leafs is what a roller coaster of a season. I listen, in October, me and Christian were on here, like I said before. We were less than thrilled to see what was going on. Like you guys, they look like genuinely like they look shocking. Then everything flipped around. The Leafs finally did the thing that we were asking for like all my life, 20 years almost. And then they just got pummeled in on the second round. Like that's
And
heartbreaking to watch. But you know what? We'll be back next year. So will
Roller
this
coaster
pod.
ride. We're ready for the next roller coaster. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
and if you want to watch the rest of the roller coaster, that's the Stanley Cup playoffs. Fubo TV's got you. We'll end
Do
it
it.
there.